we'll do chanting of the Kundalini Maha Mantra for 5 minutes, during which, this time, please remember to place the mantra on the knots. So the first part of the mantra, Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, on your root plexus, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, on your Manipur chakra, the navel, and Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat in your brow chakra, Adya chakra. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Om Kring Kale Cha Vidmahe, Maha Devyaya Dhimahi, Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. One last time. Om Kring Kalaye Cha Vidmahe Mahan Divyaya Dhimahi Tanno Shaktaye Prachodayat. Now breathe gently a few times, about 5 times. Now for 5 minutes, we'll do the Shambhavi Mudra. Once again, please maintain your posture and breathing gently, draw up your gaze. Please keep your head straight. Back straight. Keep breathing gently. One more minute. Please cover your eyes with your palms for 1 minute. Keep breathing. You can lower your hands. For 5 minutes, we'll now do the bumblebee breathing. So you know the drill. With your thumbs, you cover your ears, press against the cartilage, and we can start. One last time. Now please cover your eyes with your palms for 1 minute. You can let the person next to you know. In Lalita Sahasranama, the sutra, the verse for root plexus, Mooladhara chakra, is Mooladhara ambujaruda panchavaktra asthi sanstita ankushadi prarana vardadi nishevita mudgodana asakta chitta sakinya amb surupini. The seed syllable for the root plexus is sang. From sakinya, it becomes sang. So S or S with an anuswar, with a dot on top. So it is not sang, it is not sam, it is sang, with a very soft G. So Panchvaktra Asthi Sanstita, that the Devi, the energy that's situated in the Mooladhara chakra, in the root chakra, has 5 faces. And it's situated in your bones. Mooladhara chakra governs the earth element. Out of the 5 elements, earth element is governed by the Mooladhara chakra. Out of the 3 humors of Ayurveda, that is Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Vata being air, Pitta being bile or heat, and Kapha being phlegm. Vata is controlled by Mooladhara chakra. If you meditate on Mooladhara chakra, on the root plexus, diseases of the bones and diseases arising out of imbalance in Vata, in wind or air, can be controlled, can somewhat be prevented by meditating on the Mooladhara chakra. It also balances your earth element. 5 faces of the Devi in Mooladhara chakra represent 5 sense organs through which we perceive all sensory information, receive all sensory information, and 5 cognitive organs through which we do all actions, whether that's our limbs and mouth and so on. When you are not in control, then we have little control over our actions and our thoughts. We never get tired of having more and more fun. If we say no to enjoying our life, to sense gratification, it's only temporary until the person is ready again. When you meditate on Mooladhara, this is where Kundalini is at the moment. And this is where the whole world is. Most people spend their lives between gratifying themselves and just acting. Working towards something receiving the benefit, spending that benefit or expending that benefit, and then starting all over again. For Mooladhara chakra and for Swadhisthana, we'll get to that in a moment, there is one standard kriya, one physical activity that helps you energize it. But we'll get to that once I finish explaining the next chakra as well. But the main thing to remember about Mooladhara chakra is, if you wish to visualize on it, then the color of this chakra is vibrant orange. So as you know, and I've written that in my book on Kundalini as well, there is a traditional school of thought when it comes to Kundalini where the seed syllables are different and the colors are different. But I am simply going with the first original and the core text on Kundalini and my own experience. What you will discover as you progress on the path of awakening Kundalini, that neither colors nor the seed syllables of the chakras are of much use eventually. You can accomplish all that with the Kundalini Maha Mantra. Even practically speaking, if I said to you, now please visualize vibrant orange color on your root chakra, it's a senseless proposition. Because your visualization will always be where your inner attention or inner eye is, or where your external eye is. You will think you are visualizing on that chakra, but it's not actually happening. The closest you can do is imagine an object of that color and imagine that object in your chakra. And maybe that's why they came up with the concept of petals or various deities controlling a certain chakra. But none of that is necessary at all. Like with all other things, my job is to share with you A, how I know the truth, and B, simplify it in such a manner that anybody may understand it. Although I do so at the expense of coming across a simpleton sometimes. Because when people talk about me or my discourses, they say, this guy is too straightforward. We understand everything. He's not an enlightened being. He doesn't talk any complicated stuff. We can understand whatever he's saying. If on the contrary, you write something, if I wrote something or you read something which you wouldn't understand, some very deep concepts of mysticism, or talking about this Nad Bindu and how Kundalini is awakened and it goes into some other world and you fly and this siddhis and so on. When you don't understand something, you say, this guy is real stuff. Really, it's the truth. You say, we don't understand. Therefore, he is above us. He is talking something that we don't know. So we have to get to his level of consciousness so that we can understand what he's saying. Clearly, he is much more awakened. He is way beyond us because we don't know what he's talking about. And we have to do all these things he's telling us to do to get to that level. Very recently, I read this about this experiment in a book called Paranormality. I don't remember the author. And he talked about this experiment that was done in a university. So there was a forum like this. Well, by this I mean there were a lot of people there, researchers, professors, students. And this scientist, he was a psychologist, he hired an actor. And he said to the actor, we are just going to club together some random sentences which have no meaning, which have no connection, which are practically senseless sentences. And you will just have to read it out to the audience with great confidence. And the actor was hired, and he was trained, and he delivered a lecture lasting 30 minutes of random sentences. Please understand this, random sentences. Words just jumbled up together, sentences just clobbed together, and he's just delivering. When his lecture ended, feedback was sought from the audience. 95% of the people in the audience said, this was mind-blowing stuff. I'm not making it up. You can read that book. They said it was mind-blowing stuff. We have never heard in our life anything like this. 65% of the people said, we have walked away with so much learning. This is lifetime's worth of food. So this world is full of such people who will complicate the matter so much that you have a billion variables to look for and go wrong. And then you will say, maybe I didn't understand him correctly, or maybe I'm doing it wrong, and this and that and the other. But truth is always very simple. Lies are always complicated. So my job is to simplify the truth for you. In doing so, I could have gone with the very safe approach of just using the seed syllables as it's written in those books. I could have done that. Think about it for a moment. I could have said, these are the colors, these are the seed syllables. You had said, this guy knows Kundalini because I read it in that text and that's what it said. And he's saying exactly the same thing. But that would be doing you great disservice. If you simply follow what we are going to be covering and what we have covered so far, I can promise you awakening. Will you fly after that? Only if you have a plane ticket. Will you, all those siddhis of becoming heavy and light, will you become heavy? I don't know what kind of diet you eat. So, will you become light? Maybe. But I promise you, if you follow this, your life and your perspective towards yourself and the world, and subsequently the way you perceive things, will undergo irreversible sea change. Until you reach your Manipur chakra, the navel chakra, until then, any transformation you experience is reversible. It's like you have heated the milk, leave it alone, it's gonna go cold again. But once you cross that chakra, which coincidentally also represents the second knot, once you cross that chakra, any transformation you experience is going to be irreversible. It's going to be with you lifelong. And that's the kind of transformation we seek. That's the kind of transformation worth working towards or working for. Because the other kind can easily be induced by many substances. I could feel very happy watching a scenery. I could feel elated by watching a certain movie. I could feel euphoric by listening to a particular song. But I don't want to be dependent on external mediums that take me on a roller coaster ride. Instead, I want to know what is my source and what is that ocean of bliss that sages before us have talked about. And it's very simple. So, Mooladhara ambuja ruda panchbhaktarasti sanstita. The Devi is situated in bones. When I say Devi, I mean the energy here. And she has 5 faces. Because the physical aspect of her life, the grossest aspect of her life, is all about satisfying ourselves, gratifying ourselves, and working very hard. At the root level, when you are at the base level, your entire life goes in just that. There is no rising from that. Sometimes I tell people, nobody from the village where our ashram is has ever come to me and said, I am suffering from severe depression. Nobody has said that to me. They have to get up at 5 in the morning, they have to be in their fields, they have to irrigate, plow, and do the rest of the stuff. They have to survive. If they don't maintain and manage their crops this season, they won't have anything to eat the next season. So they are involved at the root level. So after drinking the nectar, after reaching the highest state, Kundalini has slipped and slipped and slipped and slid, and it's just at the lowest level, where we are just engrossed in all things bodily. Everything is about the body. Body feels tired, let us give it some rest. Body feels sleepy, let us give it a bit of a nap or sleep. Body feels hungry, let me feed it. And so on and so forth. We are left with then little time to even contemplate on higher things, on things that go beyond the body. So after your Mooladhara chakra, Lalita Sahasranama talks about the Swadhisthana chakra, which is your sacral plexus. Swadhisthana ambujagata, chaturvaktra manohara, shuladi ayuddho sampanna, pita varna ati garvita, medonishta madhuprita, bandhyadhi samanvita, dadhya anasakta hridaya, kakini rupadharini. So here, the energy is called kakini. The seed syllable becomes kang. Ka, and with a dot on top, that becomes kan. Not kang, not kam, kang. And the color is yellow. Pitvarnati garvita. Bright yellow, they are saying. That means pitvarn, bright ati garvita. Beautiful, vibrant yellow color is the color of this chakra. The Devi here is situated in Med. So, Med, you have Med, Majja, Asti, Sanstita. Med basically is fat. So, diseases of the fat, diseases linked to excessive accumulation of fat in the body, also, which represents somewhere in the Vedic science, if I may interpret it that way, although the word cholesterol wasn't there back then, but I feel from my observation that it has an impact on your cholesterol as well. So when you meditate on your Swadhisthana chakra, it balances what we called kapha in your body. The kapha element, the phlegm element, humor. And the element here is, for root chakra, it was earth, here it is water. So the water element is governed by this chakra. Because body, the human body, is made up of these 5 elements, we have to harmonize, we have to align these elements to be able to really get past them. And here, the energy, they say, is Chaturvaktra Manohara, a beautiful 4-faced Devi. Why 4 faces? Because there are 4 kind of endeavors we are eternally involved in as long as we are in this body. They are called Chatursh Purushartha. Dharma, Arth, Kam, Moksha. Earth is when I want to build something, accumulate something, I want to have more wealth. I am engaged towards fulfilling or growing my material life. The four aspects are all geared towards gaining more joy, more peace, more happiness from life. Dharma, Arth, Kam. Then there is Kama. Kama is my desires. My desires of sense gratification. They could be desires of lust. They could be carnal desires. They could be physical desires. They could be emotional desires. But I am constantly engaged in fulfilling my desires. And then there is Dharma. When I am fulfilled, physically, materially, when my desires are fulfilled, then naturally I'm inclined towards finding out what is my duty towards myself, towards my family, towards my society, towards this world. At that time, I ask the big questions. I'm concerned about spirituality. I want to attend Kundalini camps and I want to meditate and so on and so forth. Because materially, I know the secret now. Materially, I know I can build my life. But I want to know what is after this. Because after gaining that success, material success, I have also realized that I am still not happy. That why am I still feeling that void in my life? That takes us towards dharma, where we engage either in rituals or activities or kriyas, or we learn new things to do, so we forget a bit about our artha, that is material accumulation, and kama, my lustful or my just general material desires. When you walk the path of dharma for a little while, knowing what is the right thing for you to do at any point in time, then comes the fourth stage, moksha, nirvana, which literally means extinguished, which means liberation, redemption, deliverance. Now you're at a stage where you say, I've got everything. I've also realized that even awakening of Kundalini is just an experience at the end of the day. Even if I can tap into a higher state of consciousness, I'm still in this human body. How do I get out of this cycle completely? So I am fully liberated, Jivan Mukta, liberated soul while I'm still alive. And B, I don't have to come back. There may or may not be heaven or hell, but I certainly don't want to come back and go through this entire cycle again. Because one of the greatest desires we have is the desire to be immortal. And when we know we cannot be immortal, we'll try to leave behind some legacy. We want to leave wealth or something for our children or for the society. We want to leave behind some name, fame, something the world will remember us by. Or we might produce children because they make us immortal. They carry forward our genes. It is so ingrained in us that we don't want to die. And in doing so, we believe in the reality of existence of something which helps us live in our mind beyond this body. So, human beings are constantly involved in this four. Now, this is called Swadhisthana chakra. Swa means self, and Adhishthana means place. This is the natural abode of Kundalini. This is where Kundalini actually resided to begin with. And if you think about it, if Kundalini is my creative energy, then it makes all the sense that why it would reside near my genitals. Because that's where my reproductive fluid is. That's from where procreation happens. That's one kind of pleasure just nobody seemed to get past. But because it has now slipped, rather than even enjoying my pleasures, Kundalini has gone to the root chakra, where it is just constantly involved in struggle and momentarily given these experiences, glimpses. I'm no longer even enjoying my purushartha, my efforts of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Somehow I'm caught up in action too much that we tire ourselves out on a daily basis. Between root chakra and Mooladhara, between your root chakra and your sacral plexus, there is a place which is actually at the root chakra called the perineum. Perineum is usually equidistant from your anus and your genitals. Right between that place, the perineum where the root chakra is the greatest concentration of nerves. As I was telling you, the easiest chakra to activate is this one, Agya chakra. The second easiest chakra, followed by Agya chakra, is the root chakra. Little harder than energizing your root chakra is your sacral plexus. A little harder than sacral plexus for feeling sensations is your Manipur chakra, your navel chakra. Even bit harder is your Anahat chakra, your heart chakra. And the hardest to feel sensations or to energize is your Vishuddhi chakra, your throat chakra. So there is a Kriya, it's called Mulotejana Kriya. It is an extremely beneficial method and rewarding method of energizing your Mooladhara chakra, your root plexus. This Kriya invigorates as well as activates your root chakra and your sacral chakra, your sacral plexus. Scriptures say that the one who does this chakra. Now, the sad thing is, or the incomplete thing is, most scriptures only make references to men. And men wrote pretty much all the scriptures. I hope in the next 2000 years this scene would change significantly as women, have come up and taken the center stage for the betterment of this world. When you do this Kriya, so I was talking about scriptures, they say that the exact words, the translation was this: the one who does this becomes as charismatic and as potent as the Cupid himself. That such a man can gratify himself sexually without being exhausted. The exact words in translation Sanskrit Hindi would be, वो कामदेव के समान रति क्रीड़ा कर सकता है. Now, that may or may not interest you, but the benefit, although secretly I know what you're thinking. Tell me the Kriya, I'm gonna go and do it. Although the real benefit is it's extremely good for a man's prostate health. So if you do this Kriya, I cannot say you will never contract prostate cancer or something like that, but you will feel your overall energy levels going up, and chances of you ever contracting any disease related to the prostate are minimal then. And it is good for a woman's reproductive health as well, most notably her ovaries, because that's the word they used Andkosh there. Now, this is how this Kriya is done. If you feel your perineum, once again, it's the place between your anus and your genitals. You have to sit in your yogic posture, cross-legged, back straight, head straight, hands in your lap. Now, you have to contract that space and release it. Yogic texts say that in the beginning, you could match it with your heartbeat. So you could do it, or your pulse, you could do it 72 times in a minute or less. But eventually, you will contract it, wait a few seconds, and then release. With practice, your ability to contract those muscles will continue to build. So this is done by contraction, release, contraction, release, contraction, release. After you've mastered it, let's say after about 4 to 6 hours of total practice, you would go contraction, release, contraction, release. Another 10 hours or so, you would go contraction, release, contraction, release. So we'll do this now, and then I will get into a little more detail once we do it. So please just sit, breathe deeply, gently, starting with exhalation. As you exhale, your tummy goes in. Inhale. You're filled with positive air. And now contract, release. Contract, release. Contract, release. Please keep doing it. We'll do it for about 4 minutes. It's your perineum we are talking about. Keep contracting and keep releasing. keep contracting and keep releasing. "30 seconds more. Okay, we can stop and you can breathe gently for a few times. The entire focus of this camp is non-tantric. But this is the only technique that I shared with you that is actually a tantric practice. In Hatha Yoga, there is a bandha. Bandha is a lock called Mool Bandha. In Mool Bandha, what happens is with your heel, you hit against the perineum to invigorate it. But this practice can cause damage to your nervous system if you do it incorrectly. Plus, it's not even very effective. Mulotejana Kriya, on the other hand, it's super effective because you are drawing from your inner body. You're not exerting pressure from the outside. So, the root of this practice comes from a tantric practice called Vajroli. Vajra is, basically it means diamond, but it was a term used very frequently, two terms that are used super frequently in Vedic texts. One is Vajra, the other is lotus, Kamal. Vajra means that you become so strong, hard, that your energy is like diamond. Pristine, it's the purest form of carbon, as well as not easily breakable. Vajroli is done in two ways. The two variations of Vajroli, one is called Sahajoli, the other is called Amaroli. Now, Sahajoli is always done with a partner, and this is not the forum to expound on that. Amaroli is done on its own. The base of Amaroli is what we have just done. Amaroli on its own is little more elaborate, and once again, this is not the forum for that, but I at least wanted to apprise you that where the source of this Kriya is that you've just learned. Mere 5 minutes of this Kriya, if you did it every day, in the morning, and 5 minutes if you could do it sitting in your bed before you go to bed every night, it will truly, you will experience it. Do it only for about 3 weeks and you will know what I mean. You will feel more energetic throughout the day, because this is the energy that governs youth, your youth. And when we are young, we have a different kind of energy. There's a different zeal and zest for life. Our ability to take risks or wanting to take risks is different. The glow is different. Our skin is different. This kind of adds a radiance to your whole being, this particular Kriya. If there was only one chakra you wished to meditate on, that would be Manipur chakra, your navel plexus, navel chakra. And if there was only one Kriya you wanted to do, let it be this one. It's the most important Kriya you can do out of all the ones you will learn here on the path of awakening your Kundalini. So if we move further, and I think I've told you the seed syllable for this mantra is Kang, and the color is yellow.